Beneath the calm waves of the English Channel, a top-secret lifeline pulsed with the very fuel of victory. It was a pipeline hidden under the ocean, a marvel of engineering that powered the Allied advance into Europe. This is the story of Operation Pluto. The date is June 6, 1944, D-Day. Allied forces have stormed the beaches of Normandy, marking the beginning of the end for Nazi Germany. But a monumental challenge loomed. How to supply the millions of soldiers and tens of thousands of vehicles pushing deeper into enemy territory. Tanks, trucks, and planes are thirsty beasts. Without a constant massive supply of fuel, the entire invasion would grind to a halt. Traditional methods were fraught with peril. Fuel tankers were prime targets for German U-boats and aircraft. A single well-aimed torpedo could obliterate a ship and its precious cargo, creating a catastrophic bottleneck for the advancing armies. The Allies needed a solution that was reliable, high capacity, and, most importantly, secret. The idea was audacious, almost bordering on science fiction for the time. What if they could lay a pipeline directly on the seabed, stretching from England all the way to France? The concept was championed by Lord Louis Mountbatten, Chief of Combined Operations. He envisioned a network of underwater pipes, a pipeline under the ocean, which gave the operation its code name, Pluto. The idea was simple in theory, but a nightmare in practice. How do you create a pipe strong enough to withstand immense water pressure and the rough seabed, yet flexible enough to be spooled onto giant drums and laid by ships? And how do you pump fuel over such a long distance underwater? Two main designs emerged. The first was the HAIS pipe, a revolutionary concept based on modifying existing undersea telegraph cable designs. It was essentially a lead pipe, reinforced with layers of steel tape and armored with galvanized steel wires. It was flexible, incredibly strong, and could be produced relatively quickly. The second design was the Hamel pipe, a more rigid but larger diameter steel pipe that could be welded into long sections and spooled onto massive floating drums. Imagine these drums. These colossal bobbins of steel, some measuring 90 feet in diameter. They were called conundrums, and they were so large they had to be towed across the channel by tugboats, unspooling the pipe like thread as they went. It was an incredible sight, a testament to wartime ingenuity. To get the fuel flowing, a network of pumping stations was secretly constructed along the English coast. These stations were disguised as innocuous buildings, farmhouses, bungalows, even an old amusement park. Hidden inside, powerful pumps were ready to push millions of gallons of fuel through the underwater network. Everything was designed to be invisible to German reconnaissance planes. The fate of the war in Europe depended on this secrecy. Just weeks after D-Day, the first pipeline, codenamed Bambi, was laid. Ships, including modified merchant vessels and the specially designed HMS Latimer, with its massive conundrum, began the perilous task of unspooling the pipelines across the channel. They followed routes cleared of mines, often working under the cover of darkness to avoid detection. Over the next few months, a complex web of 17 pipelines was laid, stretching a total of over 500 miles. They connected Shanklin on the Isle of Wight to Cherbourg and Dungeness to Boulogne. The impact of Operation Pluto was immediate and profound. By early 1945, the pipelines were delivering over 1 million gallons of fuel to the continent every single day. That's enough to fill the tanks of thousands of Sherman tanks or fuel hundreds of bombing runs. This steady, uninterrupted flow of petroleum was the lifeblood of the Allied war machine. It allowed General Patton's Third Army to race across France and into Germany. It kept the supply lines moving, the aircraft flying, and the pressure on the enemy relentless. While the tankers still played a role, Pluto provided a secure, high-volume artery that the enemy simply couldn't sever. It was a strategic masterstroke, an engineering triumph that directly contributed to the swift conclusion of the war in Europe. Historians estimate that by Victory in Europe Day, Operation Pluto had delivered over 172 million gallons of fuel. After the war, most of the pipeline was salvaged for its valuable lead and steel, but its legacy endured. The technologies and techniques developed for Operation Pluto were groundbreaking. They were the direct precursors to the modern offshore oil and gas industry. The flexible pipes, the methods for laying them in deep water, and the high-pressure pumping systems all laid the foundation for the complex underwater infrastructure that powers our world today. So the next time you look out over the ocean, remember the hidden history that lies beneath the waves. Remember the secret pipeline that fueled an army, liberated a continent, and changed the course of history. It was a quiet hero of the Second World War, a testament to the incredible things that can be achieved when innovation and determination are put to the ultimate test. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, please hit that like button and consider subscribing to our channel for more hidden histories. Let us know in the comments what other incredible engineering feats you'd like us to cover. We'll see you in the next one.